All right, we are going to walk through the website pricing calculator. Now, it's more of an overview calculator, but it does a really, really good job of estimating accurately for building a website. And so we're going to jump into it. The websites that we build are really about setting the foundation for your business so that you can grow and scale it, so that they're accessible, it's performant on both the front end and the back end. The user experience is phenomenal. It's scalable and maintainable. And those are so important so that down the road, when somebody else comes in, they know where to find things. Everything's there and it's organized well. So these are the kinds of things that we look at when we're building. And then also the code is clean, the output's clean, the functionality is there. So let's jump into it. The initial phase that we go through, so there's 5 phases. We have the discovery, is the first phase, and this is essentially just a big audit. It's a really in-depth audit. We learn about your business, we look at the niche you're in or the industry, your competitors, and then we look at your services, how they're being presented, and then we help you create content outlines, and we will create a buyer persona for each service. So how that works is we understand who's buying your services, who your best customers are, the ones that are actually paying for your services and want your services. Those are the kinds of people that we want to market to and write content for, so that when they're looking online, Google understands the intent and serves your pages. Now, we build everything out. We get to know your business, and then we craft your message so that you can get more leads predictably. We engineer the success of your business into the very beginning stages of building your website. The website is foundational to your online presence, and so that's where we start, and we get everything set up right from the very beginning. We set the baseline, we set goals with you based on where you want to get to, and then from there, along the way, we can look at the different points and go, okay, are we on track for that? Do we need to shift something? Why or why not are we hitting them? And then everything is transparent and clear as we collaborate together. So that's the discovery phase. It is just a big, big audit. Out of this, you get a ton of information. And then with it, we're also looking at creating content for the future. So those outlines aren't just for what goes on the site now, but they're basically building out a content calendar for you so that we can create that content along the way, right? Creating blog posts, other content, and then you can use it for your social media and stuff as well. So next up is the low fidelity wireframes. Now, these are mapping out the structure of your website, how people are going to use the website. So when people land on these pages, how are they going to navigate the pages? Where are the call to actions going to be? We understand the typical way people use websites, and so we factor that in. Where the content goes, how Google's going to crawl this page, that's all important information to understand, and we build that out in the low fidelity wireframes. So I have it listed here, the pages that we consider in the low fidelity wireframes, but ultimately this is where you get to go, I need this functionality. I need these forms to integrate with this CRM. Those kinds of things are where this all gets built out. This is also where the sitemap gets built out for your website. So all the pages that you're going to have on your website, we build that out. And so you'll be able to see what those pages are going to look like in the user journey before the website actually gets built and development happens. So moving on, the content. Now, this is a bit different than most agencies or most companies do. They'll pick a theme or something like that. They create a design, and then they send it to a content writer once it's all built. And they go, hey, you need to add content to this. Well, that's a bit challenging because some of the content that you need to add, the amount of words you want to put on the page to communicate your message effectively, might not match with the way that the content's laid out on the page, right? So when we do content, we go from low fidelity wireframes, and then we start writing the content for it. And then from there, it goes right into the wireframing in Figma, and that's where we build everything. So the content of your pages is visible and there on the wireframes before the designing even really happens. So we've got the structure, the navigation of user experience, and then the content is there. So we have all the content written out, the calls to action for every page. We know what those look like and how that's going to be set up. And then where those will go, all that functionality, that's all going to be set up in Figma. So you'll understand that before development happens. Then we're going to send this to our design team. And so from there, the design team is going to go through understanding your brand colors, all of your images and everything that you have for your business. We only use professional photography or quality images of your brand. There's no stock images on these sites. That's something that we work with you on. If you don't have photos, then we work with you to get photos. And if you have photos, we will double check them and make sure that they are okay. to be used, because this website is going to reflect your business. And that's really, really important that it's presented well. We want these sites to convert really, really well. That's what we engineer them to do in the very beginning. And so this is really important. High fidelity wireframes are going to have all of your graphics, all of your images, all of your content. It's going to be a full mock-up of your website. All the pages of your website will be designed and set up in Figma. And so you can look at them. You'll be able to see your entire website, the URL structure of it. Everything will be laid out in Figma. And so you can see that before development happens. This is where all of your iterations are going to happen. Any changes to the website design is going to happen in this space before development happens. Because once we get that sign of approval on, yes, this design is what I want, then we're going to be building it. And we develop it so that this site is accessible, it's performant, and usable, scalable, maintainable, all the things that a website should be. It has a logical structure according to how Google has laid out its guidelines and written its patents for. That's really important. We read and follow the patents that Google's published on structural hierarchy for websites so that these can be crawled easy, the data can be consumed, and then Google understands the content of the website and can serve it appropriately to whoever's searching for it based on intent. So that's where the high fidelity wireframes come in, and then we develop, we do all of our testing, and then from there it gets launched after you have approved it, right? I'm just going to do a refresh here, so we should have some information in here. And there we go. So how does this work? How do you use this? First of all, we want the discovery phase. That's a must-have. For a big website like this, a lot of people say, hey, Kevin, your websites are very expensive. Well, it's because we have a huge audit. You get way more value in that. And then you can take this and it sets you up for all of your content marketing for the future. So if you do print, if you do digital, all of it's there. All your designs are there. And so all of your branding is consistent across the board. This is by far the best way to do it. From the experience that I have setting up numerous websites for other agencies, setting up their systems, this is the best way to do it. So yeah, there's 3 fields you want to fill out. We come up here. These are all default. You can't change these. Okay, they're not selectable. So now we're going to go, how many pages do we have? Most companies are going to run about 25 to 30 pages for a service-based business, depending on how many services you offer and depending on how many service areas you offer. But default, you're going to be about 12 pages without all of your services and service areas. These are like the functional pages. You might have a few services in here, but 10 to 15 is kind of the ballpark for getting a website started. So if I do a 10-page website for you, not 110, we want to go 10. The low fidelity wireframes are going to come in at $800. And so the way that we set this up, we do the discovery, we plan it all out for you, we set up all your wireframes, we get the content written. I advise 750 words per page if you have 0 content, right? This is all from scratch. And so if you already have content that works well on your website, then we're going to be looking at less than this. It's really something that we gauge, and it's different for every website. A lot of websites need a full rewrite, and that's been my experience. And we do this at the very, very beginning because all of the content needs to go onto the website when it's built, so that when it's launched, it's not like you're piecemealing this as you go. Google looks at a lot of site-wide indicators, and as you try and update content over time, the rest of the content on the site still sucks. So we do it all at the very beginning. A lot of companies will spread out the SEO, spread out the page optimization. It's important to do it at the beginning so it has the most impact when this site gets launched. So 750 words is what I recommend, 750 to 1200 words per page. These are for the pages that you are selling on. These are your main pages. These will be your service pages, your service area pages, your important landing pages. They need to have proper sales copy. And then if you already have content that works well, then every page generally doesn't just get content updated on the sites. It's usually add the content, and then we're gonna have to tweak it. And usually there's about 300 words of writing on pages that even have existing content, because usually it's not that great. If you're needing a website like this, the content on your website probably isn't phenomenal. And so we come in and we'll make tweaks. And so I would recommend, if you already have content, then we're gonna be looking at about 300 words per page of editing, okay? Next up, well, that's it. So you have 2 fields. Look at that. It's phenomenal. 2 fields, and you get a fully estimated website. So we're looking at 10 pages, 300 words per page, because you already have existing content to use. And so we're $4,500. Remember, these are Canadian dollars as well. So if you're in the States, then this is a phenomenal deal. You're not going to find better quality websites at this value. So this is how you use this calculator. If you have questions about this, hit us up on our contact form, and I hope to see you on the other side.